You're listening to FAMcast, the For All Manakind podcast, with your hosts, the competitive spirit, Trey Simpson, our own devil's advocate, Tim Weber, and the hopelessly optimistic Trevor Jorgensen. This is FAMcast.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to FAMcast. This is episode 69.
69.
Nice. On this 69th episode in the middle of January, I should say I had a pretty fun weekend.
Good. Happy you did.
Yeah, thank you. I just got back from PAX South. It was a pretty fun time. Got hands-on with some indie games, played some tabletop games, hung out with some cool friends. Katie Beth J was with us on the adventure. By us, I mean me, I guess. Hung out with Doritos and Anna, which was really cool. So it was a good time. I know Trey went last year, and we got to get hands-on with Resident Evil 2, like right before it came out, which was awesome. Got those sweet zombie shirts. Yeah, I missed you guys. Wish we all could have gone, but there's 2 more PAXs this year. We'll see what the rest of the year holds. I don't know how much you guys saw. There's a game called Garden Story there that was pretty sweet.
I saw your photo.
Yeah, it's like a little, I don't know how to describe it. It kind of plays like a top-down Legend of Zelda. Get different items, talk to
And we all know
villagers.
how Trevor likes that.
Yeah, I do love my top-down Zelda games. Solve puzzles. So that was a fun time. Boyfriend Dungeon was there. Streets of Rage 4 was there.
I know. I want to play that so bad.
Oh, yeah. It looks sweet, dude. You would definitely like it. There was another one there by Tiny Build that I thought Tim would really like. I think it was Hellpoint. Doritos actually got to play that, and he described it as Dead Space meets Dark Souls.
You text me about that.
Yeah, which seemed like a pretty cool
It
mixture.
intrigues me.
Because I definitely missed it, Dead Space.
Dead Space 1 was phenomenal. Dead Space 2 was okay. Dead Space 3 was actually a lot better than people made it out to be. Just because there was so much customization to your weapons you could do. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it wasn't so much scary. Like, it was definitely more actiony than scary by that point. But it was a lot of fun. So I had no problem with it.
I loved it. Yeah, I definitely loved 3.
Dead Space.
Fun fact, I actually played through, I believe, 1 and 2 with Zach the Ogre, years ago.
Now, when you say played through, you mean you made sure that he played while you watched because you were too scared?
No, I actually played through those. We
What?
I'm pretty sure I don't know if we just passed the controller back and forth or what, but yeah.
I'm impressed.
I actually did achievement videos for Dead Space 1 or 2. I don't remember which one it was.
Wow.
CMY Coalition.
Wow.
Yeah, back when
Wow.
this was pre-FAM, when we had 3 different iterations of FAM over the past 15 years.
Yeah.
That it was never the right time. But yeah, anyways, I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit about PAX South because it was really fun. Gearbox had a little party there. They called it GBX, not to be confused with GDX, because I kept calling it that all weekend. But Randy Pitchford's wife was there, and she was like, "Yeah, we want this to be the first of many." So it sounds like they're going to try and do a bunch of these, at a couple other events throughout the year. So it'd be cool to see what else Gearbox has in store.
Yeah.
They didn't show off anything; they just gave out free stuff. They had PCs at this bar, good music. It was pretty cool.
Maybe we'll get a FAMCon. Who knows?
Right.
Yeah. We'll put them on the invite list.
World exclusive.
We'll see if they make the cut.
Oh, damn. So yeah, that's PAX South. It was a good time. Next up, we've got potentially PAX East. I think we still have to talk through that. So we might go there. I think there's some rooms still available at the Hotel Connecting, which Boston in February. That's really the only way I'd want to go. I don't want to walk outside at all.
It's so cool.
That's a valid point. That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that. That's an extremely good point.
It was terrible enough in March, and they moved it up an entire month. That, that's just going to be awful.
Yeah.
But anyways, wanted to dive into two topics tonight. One of them we've kind of we kind of got news about right after our last podcast. Was the Pokemon expansions.
Yeah.
So I think we'll kind of kick things off with that because that was really exciting news. As you guys know, the three of us have been super into Sword and Shield, especially Tim, the gym leader himself.
That's me.
We even have our own gym challenge. I'm sure you guys, if you watch the stream, you might have seen it already. Every other Friday, Tim has challengers come in, try and win a real FAM gym badge. They actually turned out pretty sweet. We've been mailing some of those out to the winners. But yeah, really exciting news. They announced the Pokemon Direct. We got the news that morning, and I don't know if any of us really expected an expansion pass. What did you guys think of the expansion pass news? I'll just kind of open it up to you guys because I've been rambling for 5 minutes.
I mean, I don't want to say I was expecting it, right? I don't want to be like, oh, well, I predicted this.
Yeah.
No, because I didn't. But I knew it was possible, right? So
Yeah.
I knew it was something that could be done just because of the generation of games that we have compared to what we had prior, right? So I'm not like, oh my God, surprised by it, but I'm happy about it.
Pleasantly surprised. Like we know that their DLC's kind of been on the rise the past couple years to where before DLC wasn't really Nintendo's thing, but you know, with Smash Brothers and even in Breath of the Wild getting DLC, I think they're starting to get into it more to expand the life of their games. So I agree, pleasantly surprised. What about you, Trey?
I think I had called it our Pokédex, like the National Dex podcast that we had, like a little bit of section of one of the podcasts that we had. I'm pretty sure I had called it on that. I was like, I'm pretty sure they're going to have DLC of some kind. Like they did it with Smash Brothers, they did it with Splatoon, they did it with ARMS. It's like, it would be dumb of them not to do it with Pokemon.
Right.
And then when the whole National Dex thing came around, I was like, shut up, everybody. It's called DLC. Like, it's going to happen. Like, there's no way that's not going to happen.
Now they're making me pay $30 to get more Pokemons.
You don't have to pay the $30. You can just trade with people.
But play...
I thought that was
trade.
That's a pretty good point, actually. So to go into, maybe we should go over the details first of what the DLC was.
Let's go over the details.
So just in case people aren't aware, so you pay $30, and you get 2 expansion passes. Two. One comes out in June, which is
June.
What's that one?
Isle
Not
of
even
Armor.
6 months away.
Yeah, the Isle of Armor. Only about 5 months away, and then the other one coming out this fall, which is the Crown Tundra. Yeah. So 2 DLC packs for $30, and it's per version. So if you have both Sword and Shield, you have to pay the $30 twice because you own 2
Okay,
games,
let me hang on before you confuse people. What he means by that is you don't have to pay $60 to get both expansions.
Correct.
If you're one of those people who own both games for the sake of owning both games and you want that expansion on both of your games, you have to pay the expansion twice because the expansion says Shield expansion, Sword expansion. But if you're like myself and you only have Shield, I need to pay the $30 one time, and that gets me both DLCs.
Exactly.
So you're not paying $60. It's not, each one of those DLCs isn't $30. Each one's only like on that at that point $15.
Yeah.
And you're getting them both for that $30. It's the way I get why Nintendo did it the way they did it, but I can also see people have been confused. I've seen people.
It's very confusing.
They're just like, well, no. Just if you play one game solely, which most people do, you're paying $30. You get both DLCs.
If you would just read.
Dang.
Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying like it is.
Like,
If you just
like Trey
read
was-
what they say. If you listen to what they're saying, it makes sense.
Yeah, but it can definitely be confusing since there's two versions of the pass and then there's 2 expansions within that pass. It can definitely get a little mixed up. But Trey mentioned a cool feature with the expansion passes. You actually don't have to buy the passes to take advantage of the new Pokemon in said passes. So you can still not pay any money and get the 200 plus Pokemon that they're adding from the National Dex. Not all of them have been announced, but a few of them like Trey's favorite, Nidoking has been.
Nidoking is coming back.
Garchomp, one of Tim's favorites.
Yes, Garchomp is coming back.
And Metagross, one of my favorites.
Metagross.
So everyone's kind of got something to look forward to there.
Best
and a
part
bunch
is
of
I
others.
get Volcarona in June. I have to wait till
Yeah.
fall to get Garchomp, but I get Volcarona in which for those of you who don't know who Volcarona is, it's a really fat firefly, more or less. Like it's a fire bug,
Moth
but it
bug
just
thing.
like Cinescorch is, right?
Yeah,
But better than Cinescorch.
agreed.
So I'm super excited. I use Volcarona a lot. I use Garchomp a lot. Okay, now listen, I'm not like one of those people who's like, oh, I like to use the meta all the time. But I liked Garchomp. Garchomp was just a badass. Garchomp came out, I'm just like, that motherfucker's a badass. And he wound up being one of the biggest badasses ever.
Tim only uses pseudo legendaries in his teams because
yes,
he just wants to win easy.
That is 100%.
Be ready for
reaches the
those
W,
Friday battles, guys.
Literally the opposite.
But yes, going back to the point of all that, you don't have to pay anything. You can still take advantage of the new Pokemon. So all the national Dex people out there, if you, for whatever reason, you don't feel that you need to spend more money on this game, fine. If you can still get all the Pokemon that you wanted in the first place,
Yep.
just like you asked for, and that's it.
So let's talk about what could have been the alternate route that apparently everybody's always been fine with for the past 10 years, and they never complain about it. And actually, they get excited for it, but this was too much. So you keep in mind, past generations have done Black and White 2,
Crystal,
Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Crystal,
Yellow, Emerald,
Yellow, not Sapphire, Emerald. And you're paying full price for that game that literally does nothing but tweak a couple things here and there, right? Like realistically, I think Emerald added Rayquaza, right? Like you couldn't get him without Emerald. I can't remember. You could. Okay,
Yeah.
so
it was usually for all of these you play through the same campaign with like minor story tweaks, right? And you might have new Pokemon added that weren't available previously, and maybe some additional in-game content, but
right.
That's pretty much it.
60, or you paid what? What are games? What are those games? What are 40?
Well, yeah, it
Average
depends
$40.
on which ones we're talking about.
Right.
But
you
40
paid
for the
basically full
handhelds.
price for what that game was, for essentially almost no additional content. Like there was some tweaks, some things here and there, but people were like, "Yeah, this is great! Can't wait! Gonna do it!" And
a new save file.
Save file.
You're not like picking up where you left off. You're starting the same game you just played, which, don't get me wrong, as a kid, I loved Yellow and Crystal.
Right.
It was fun to go through those games again, but now I'm like, I've already gone through this campaign. I don't really want to do it again.
Right. I already put my 100 hours into this.
Right.
So now Pokemon comes out and it's like, hey, look. So we're going to give you 200 plus more Pokemon. We're going to knock down the price by half of what a full game costs. We're going to actually add 2 completely additional content areas and things to do on top of you're going to be able to continue your save file so you don't have to restart. How do you guys feel? And what do fans do? Boo! No, we don't want it. Boo! And I'm just sitting there like, you know what, Nintendo? It's okay. We love you. We get it. Just give it to us. We accept it. We appreciate it. We will 100% support this.
I almost feel like it's kind of it's kind of become the norm to I feel like if this was announced a couple of years ago, it wouldn't have gotten the same negative reaction. I'm not saying that everyone has a negative reaction, but those negative voices definitely tend to drown out the positive ones.
100%.
Even when they are the minority, right? Like there could only be 10% of Pokemon players that feel negative about it, but those are the loudest voices normally.
Because everybody else is satisfied and not complaining.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just, the way that social media is to where people just have such easy access to voice their opinions. And it's like just for that.
100%.
You just get that instant satisfaction of, satisfaction, I say, but of just upsetting people or venting your emotions. I don't know what it is, man, but it definitely seems like it's kind of the new norm.
So essentially what we have here is people who are mad about the national decks are
Getting
trying
what
to
they
find
want.
or find Nintendo's trying to help them out and be like, okay, we got more stuff coming to you. But the people that are upset about the national decks want to pick. So I went through this exact same thing with Fallout 76. I'm talking identical thing with Fallout 76 to where people who don't like it, whether they understand what it is or not, whether they understand what they're even talking about or not, people who don't like it will be on there complaining about it. There are people who don't like Fallout 76 who literally anytime there's a post about it, go in there and say trash game. Don't buy it. And they don't even play the game. And they've done this. It's been out for almost over a year now, and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why are you wasting your time, right? But they do it because they feel so strongly about their stupid opinion that they have that they're just like, I want to take anything that seems even slightly negative that I can turn into a negative even more and just blow it out of proportion. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we have.
And it's like this horde mentality, right? To where like once they see like enough people say it, they're like, oh well, I should believe that now.
Right, I'm right. Clearly,
because people on Reddit are saying that. Well, that must be the right opinion since multiple people are saying it. So that's my opinion, even though I haven't played the game.
Meanwhile, here I am playing Fallout 76, having just a grand old time, sitting over here playing Pokemon, having just a grand old time. Like, whatever, people. I don't know.
Do you still play 76?
I have actually not. So Wastelanders is coming out shortly, and I will definitely jump back into it once Wastelanders comes out. But I have really been getting the itch to go back for a bit.
Because they had a pretty solid roadmap, didn't they, for content?
They did, and Nuclear Winter was really fun. It was their BR game, and it was really fun. Like for a BR game, it's a blast.
Yeah, I remember you playing that at E3.
Yeah, dude, it was
like
so good.
We just kept going back in line to.
We did because I wanted to keep playing. It was a good time. And the only thing that kind of killed Nuclear Winter for me, and I know they've tweaked it, and I haven't played it since then, but they had a perk in there called Frog Legs, and it was really bad because like you could just jump super high.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden you have these people halo jumping everywhere, and if you don't have that perk, which takes like 9 agility to have, you're not, and they're just like jumping, and you're just like, well, okay.
Yeah, the frog leg.
But meanwhile, this isn't about 76.
Yeah,
I love it.
Sorry, I was just interested.
I do. I definitely have that itch to go back 100%. But onto the Pokemon news. Like, I'm completely satisfied. My thought with this is this to me opens up more ideas in terms of this. And I'm not going to say I don't have concerns or thoughts, but like, one, this opens up a way that you can see them easily adding other regions back into the game in the future if they decided to, right? So we could go back to Hoenn, we can go back to Johto, and like it could just happen on our same save file.
Yeah,
like
sure could.
That, right? My concern, and here's my legitimate concern, is I have a lot of Pokemon at max level.
Yeah. How do you keep it?
How do you keep it fresh and challenging for someone like me to go do? So now these 2 DLCs open up. Okay, so I go here. I feel like Nintendo should know that there's going to be people with max level, especially by the time these come out. How do you keep that fresh and challenging for someone who has them at max level? Is it just going to be, okay, everyone's at max level, now it's at light levels?
Right. You have to prestige in Pokemon.
Yeah.
Well, isn't they kind of did that already with like the wild area. It's like as you're leveling up, you kind of saw the progression of the Pokemon in the wild area kind of get more and more hard,
correct,
right? Or more
correct. Like once you beat the game, they're all 60. Like everything in the wild area, all the way down to a freaking whatever cutie fly is 60.
Yeah.
So
we've got this hard
interesting
cap
idea.
Yeah. It's interesting with this hard
idea.
I would imagine they would do some kind of scaling to where it's like, okay, we read that a majority of your Pokemon are level 100. We'll scale things up to 100 or something like that.
And see, that would work, right? So if they just make everything in these DLCs level 100, that would work. I know that would suck, kind of, but at the same time, like you have to think every battle you go into, you're not just going to run them over, right? You better make sure you have your typing and you have a plan for your team. Because think of the Battle Tower. Have you guys played the Battle Tower and the AI in the Battle Tower? This is not easy. Those Battle Tower AIs, they are really strong. So maybe they don't do that. Maybe for battles in these DLCs, it's just like when you're doing Battle Tower stuff, like, hey, just so you know, your Pokemon are going to be ranked down to level 50. for the sake of competition here.
Like,
Yeah.
Battle tower stuff is not simple. You got to have your A game a lot of the times.
it's sort of like
they-
while you're out in the wild or while you're doing stuff, maybe it'll scale everything down to 50, like how you're saying, like how battle tower rules go. Yeah,
and they haven't talked about it. Like, we don't know, but I'm sure
Yeah.
we'll find out as time goes. I'm sure. I mean, I guess worst case scenario, I go in there and run everything over and just get the Pokemon I want. I'm not necessarily
Right.
upset about that.
And then you just keep on your competitive grind.
But Trevor-
Yeah.
Oh, maybe you were about to talk about it.
N-
See what you're gonna say.
Maybe we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
I was going to bring up one of the new features
Okay.
from this expansion pass, which
Yeah.
might be one of the ones I'm most excited for. Is the co-op
Yes.
co-op dungeons or raids,
Yes.
whatever you want to call them. The way that they described it, and I could be wrong, and correct me if you know something else, but they made it seem like you're going into raids like normal, but you're kind of doing more than just taking on one Pokemon and then you're done.
That's what it sounded like.
Like I don't know if there's potential for maybe co-op puzzles, maybe some like multi battles along the way. I don't know. But at the end of these co-op raids or dungeons, there are legendary Pokemon, and they're bringing back pretty much every legendary from Kanto all the way to Galar as an option to be collected. And on top of that, adding more legendary Pokemon. I think there's 4 new ones because they
there 4?
announced
5.
Is there 5?
there were quite a few because they've got 2
you
new
counting
Reggies.
alternate forms? Oh, okay. Okay. They do have 2 Reggies. That's right.
Yeah, so they've got an electric Reggie and what looks to be a dragon Reggie. And then they have Cub Fu, which I believe is just fighting. And then when it evolves, it has 2 alternate forms. It's either fighting dark or fighting water, whichever route you decide to take it down, which I think is pretty cool that you get to choose. And then the other one is the big brain deer looking thing.
Calyrex.
Yeah, Calyrex, which is a grass fairy. So
Big
that's
brain deer looking thing. Reminds me of the X Pokemon.
yeah. Xerneas?
Xerneas. Wait.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, from X, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting having some new legends to collect, some old ones
And the
to
3 birds.
Yeah,
so
oh my
The
gosh.
new alternate versions. You got Zapdos looking amazing. And
Yes.
Moltres.
I think
and
we all
Articuno.
had when we talked about this previously, I think we all had a
We
different
did.
favorite, right?
I was a fan of Moltres.
Zapdos for me.
Yeah, and I was Articuno, which
Yep.
kind of turned out pretty cool. I'm glad that they're bringing old Pokemon back and giving them new forms as well. I'm pretty sure Trey would like to see maybe a Galar and a Nidoking.
Yes.
Granted, the picture looked very just regular Nidoking-ish, but
Yeah.
I mean,
For
well.
sure. Yeah, who knows? Maybe like a poison steel typing would be kind of cool.
I think a Dark Scyther would be badass. Okay, Look,
Yeah.
Dark type. Dark bug.
Dark Scyther, yeah, Dark Bug.
There's not a
Sick.
dark bug, is there?
No, but there
I
could
don't
be.
think
Nintendo.
That'd be
Nintendo.
interesting typing.
You could just give him a
Yeah.
mask.
Yeah, he just pulls down a mask. That's it. And with these, with one of the forms that they announced, we've got a Slowpoke, which
Oh
yes.
yeah. Yep.
which
Did you get
I've
yours
seen,
yet?
I've seen quite a few of these Slowpoke. They gave it out. You basically get one for free. When they announced everything, they said you can get this new form in your game right now. Just update your game, and I was really excited to go home and get a new Pokemon. And I was like, you know what? I want this one to be shiny because in the 2 expansions, you'll be able to evolve it into a new Slowbro and a new Slowking, and they look pretty sweet. Not sure what their typing is yet. Could be Ghost, Dark, Poison. Not really sure. The coloring is kind of purplish, so I'm excited and I want a shiny one. And I've been working for probably 18 hours, if not
Oh, do
20.
you still not have one?
Still don't have one.
Oh,
No idea how many eggs I've hatched. I mean, at this point, if I had to estimate, 1,600.
I was about to say 1,500, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just kind of based on that time frame. It's painful. And then I go on Reddit and I see people to get it like, oh, it only took me 60 eggs. This is great.
Well,
I'm so happy for them.
So funny, and I thought so when I started my journey to get my Edge-a-Slash, right?
Yeah.
I thought, you know what? I had the Masuda method working for me the last time. I hatched literally, I kid you not, and I wasn't aiming for it, but I hatched 7 eggs and got a shiny poltergeist.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
I remember
7
that.
eggs. It was my 7th egg. It was literally, I did one batch. It was the first egg on my second batch. It's like, damn, this Masuda method works great.
Right.
I got shiny charm on top of that. Freaking Edge-a-Slash takes, it took me 900 eggs to get Edge-a-Slash. Like, it's just like, okay,
Yeah.
okay, world.
Painful.
It is. It's painful. It's a grind, man. Like, but you at this point, you have 18 hours in it. Do you really want to just make those be wasted?
Yeah, and at this point, I've kind of, I was going on it nonstop to where like that's all I was doing. I'm trying to like break it up to maybe I'll do like half an hour a day or something like that.
That's
just
fair.
to make it a little easier because I
Put a
was putting
movie
in
on.
like, yeah, I was putting in, especially with it being OhioCon weekend, I was putting in like 4 or 5 hours in at a time, and that sucked.
That's a good idea. When you're waiting in line for stuff, just sit there and
Right, just waiting at the con.
all of a sudden you just hear Trevor shout, "Oh my god!"
Right, there it is. I don't. What other features? Did we miss any features? I think that was
The berry
there's like
or the apricot making stuff.
yes,
Making balls.
the apricot stuff coming back. If you guys remember from Gold and Silver, you got
Using
apricot
balls,
stuff.
right? Like you made Pokeballs with them.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how that works because making one ball at a time would be a little tedious. So I'm hoping that they'll have a way to like mass produce them.
Yeah.
Like making 20 at a time or something.
Of course, there's gonna be new characters. So we got Mustard, who's the one who trained
What's
Leon.
his face?
Leon. Yep.
Yeah.
And then we've got
Kennedy.
the two other characters that are trying to become their own gym leaders, which is Avery, who is the psychic type guy, and then Clara, who is the poison type.
Yeah.
And depending on what version you have will depend on which one like is in your game, right?
Push a rival. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shield gets Avery, and Sword gets Clara.
Cool.
And new move tutors as well.
Mm-hmm.
I believe.
Oh, that's actually important.
yeah.
Like that's very important.
Yeah. Be a completely different meta in a couple months, man.
I hope, man. Like, I'm tired of seeing Exadrill and Mimikyu everywhere. Every team. That's all there is. That Extra Drill, Mimikyu, Tyranitar, Dragapult, Gyarados, Rotom.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yep. Although I was interested in that team I shared this morning in Discord that had a
At least it was
Weezing.
different.
Yeah.
It was a good
that
idea. It's
Weezing-
a good concept.
Yeah. Especially with the clear smog, I think it is. To get rid of all the stat changes.
Yes. Clear Smog. Clear Smog is good. It's very especially if someone got set up against you, that move is a lifesaver.
Yeah. But yeah, all in all, I know we're excited for it. I don't really see the justification to be upset about it when you're getting all the content that you used to get in games. In my opinion, you're getting more than you used to get in other games for half the price.
100% you are. 100% you are.
And this could-
They never added 200 Pokemon to a game.
Yeah. And this could easily be the start, just like Tim was saying. This is only the beginning for what they could add down the road.
Yeah. Oh, I've
Like,
got
this
it
is
here. Sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good.
So the Isle of Armor will give us the XP Charm, new tutor moves, and then the restricted sparring mode, which is they're saying that it's going to give some of your normally overlooked Pokemon a chance to shine. So I'm interested to see how that is.
Normally overlooked Pokemon. So I wonder if has something to do with like the underused kind of not really
it says the
competitive
Isle of Armor
Pokemon.
will also introduce a
Scyther's
way
underused.
to challenge yourself to some new battles. With restricted sparring, you'll be limited in what types of Pokemon you can use and forced to battle under set conditions. Give it a try.
I like it.
And
Yeah,
give
that'd
some
be
of your
cool.
overlooked Pokemon a chance to shine.
I like it.
So, yeah, that'd be
Yeah,
interesting.
definitely like that.
And then the Tundra is going to give, the Crown Tundra is going to give
Counter.
the co-op feature.
Yes.
That'd be so
How cool
good.
would it be if you're just like, because I mean, you clearly see other trainers in the wild area, right? Like you see them, they're around. How cool would it be if you enter this dungeon? It's just you see your 4 trainers there, and you're going around like trying to do things together and stuff. Like
I think that would be a lot cooler if it's like if you make like a party of 4 people and you just see your 4 running around in the dungeon.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that'd be really cool. Because like the way it is now, like I like the wild area. I think it's a really really cool idea. But it's just like you see mass amounts of people everywhere, and you're just like, yeah.
And you're just like, I don't know. But you go up to them and talk to them, they give you food.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Hopefully, we'll see some other quality of life changes, or even some like minor patches. I know they do like hot fixes and stuff, but I would love to see, I don't know, a manual refresh for stamps. Something like that. I'm interested to see what they can do in between these like larger expansions.
Right.
I think they've got an online competition going on right now too.
I think so, probably.
Wait, is there?
Mm-hmm. Another one of those like Galar Beginnings or something. Nope. And Tim just left the podcast.
Tim's gone from the podcast.
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it started like a week ago.
Hey, Tim, there's an online competition going on. Maybe you should do it.
I thought you were all into this VGC stuff, man.
Look,
I thought you were all about it.
I have been doing a lot of battles. Sometimes things get past me. Okay, I got our gym to defend. It's been a very rough ride. Maybe if we had 3 trainers instead of 2, we might not have lost 3 times.
I was kicking back in sunny Texas, so I didn't have time to defend a gym. So maybe next week, or the week after that, I should say.
It doesn't start till the 23rd. I'm okay.
Nice, you made it in.
I did.
What is that? Friday? Thursday?
What day is
I don't know. Dates are hard.
It's Thursday.
It is Thursday. Ooh, good. Perfect.
Tim's off Thursday.
I am actually. I am off Thursday. That works really well.
I could tell by the way that he said that. He was like, perfect. I can just play 100 matches. And they don't cap you either. Like you can just play as much as you want, right?
I think the last one you can only do like 9 a day or something like that. Like there was a cap.
Oh, gotcha.
But that's okay. That to me is good because then like I don't just sit here and play it all day.
Right.
Like I have a cap, so that's not a bad thing.
You need to, eat and move, things like that.
I did find out I can host things, by the way.
Oh,
so if we get a good group of people and want to do like a tournament some Friday, I can host that tournament. And we can post the code online, and anybody who uses that code can join that tournament.
Are you able to spectate? It by
itself. I don't know. I haven't done it, so I don't know. But I know I can make the tournaments.
Well, that's cool.
Maybe just a community night kind of thing, like, hey.
Maybe FAMcon.
Oh no, that would be beautifully perfect. Because we're doing a Pokemon tournament on FAMcon. Like, that's
gotta happen.
I'm gonna be yeah.
It's rigged.
Like, with like a cape and everything.
Rigged.
With a you can make me a cape with a Pokeball on the back of it.
Just cosplay as Leon, dude.
I'm basically
dye your hair purple.
I'm taking Ender's thing away.
No, his is pink, dude. You're fine. It's all good.
I need Leon's hat. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, you got to do the pose.
And I'll get really mad and be like, and
yeah. Oh, I'm mad I lost, but I'm happy for you.
But Pokemon, yay, we love it. It's great.
We do.
I think they're doing great things. And Nintendo, keep it up. I'm super happy with what you announced. I can't wait to see what you have in the future.
Yeah. And switching gears a little bit to something a little more recent. What?
Really?
Did you say Kojima?
What?
Am I just hearing things? Oh.
You just like to think that Kojima's everywhere.
Maybe. It looks like your Infinity Gauntlet's casting like a dog shadow on your curtains, by the way.
It's playing shadow puppets. Okay, let it go.
Anyways, next topic. So something a little more recent. It's kind of happened over the past, I think, full week. It's been almost exactly a week if I remember right.
Animal Crossing's fault.
We've had this recent trend of game delays.
Yeah.
which isn't unexpected anymore. And I would say for the most part, people actually, I would say this is kind of the opposite of Pokemon, to where for the most part, people are understanding of game delays. And if they're truly, passionate about the game, they're okay with waiting.
Right.
So I think the 4 or 5 that we're talking about here, Final Fantasy was the first to be delayed. That one was, yeah.
When is that pushed back till?
So it was March 3rd, I believe, and now it's April 10th.
That's not terrible. So a month.
Sorry, cats are fighting. So yeah, only about a month, so not too bad there. And then they also announced same day the Marvel Avengers game got delayed, and that was May. And now it's September.
That's okay with me too. Like, I was wanting to play that game, but that was not a game I was like super excited about. Like, I would probably have picked it up if I had friends to play it with. So
we might dive into some of these a little more individually, because I think some of them have unique circumstances. But just a quick hit on Marvel. I know that one wasn't really received well at E3, and I'm interested, if that maybe tied into some of that, into that delay. I'd say maybe one of the bigger ones that was a couple days later was Cyberpunk.
Yeah, that got pushed back quite a bit, right?
That was about the same as Avengers, an additional month, because that was originally April and now it's September. So yeah, the fall's looking a little more full, which is a little good. We were talking earlier that the first half of the year is a little,
it was loaded.
Yeah, it's kind of loaded, so maybe spreading it out a little bit since we're getting to the end of these console cycles.
Now September's loaded.
Yeah, exactly. But not Animal Crossing. That's the one that hasn't moved yet.
With Animal Crossing walking down like the thing, and like with each door, that was fantastic.
Isabel's clearing the way. This is the spring game, man.
Good old Animal Crossing coming out.
Well, the one that just happened today was Dying Light 2.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
And that one got pushed back kind of indefinitely. They said that they would share news kind of as it comes.
But unlike Dead Island, it's not dead, and it's for sure coming.
Yeah, Dead Island was what, 5 years ago, 6 years ago that it was announced?
Dead Island 2 was so long ago, and it was so hyped, and they still say they're working on it. Like, they do come out and say they're working on it. They just...
Deep Silver's kind of been bounced around from different companies, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
I think that was the same E3 that the very first Battlefront for the current gen consoles was announced, if that puts that into perspective for you.
But, and like, don't get me wrong, you can't have Dead Island and Dying Light come out the same year. I think that'd be a bad idea.
Sure.
But I just want an update, man. Dead Island 1 was a lot of fun. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't perfect, but it was a lot of fun for what it was.
Yeah.
It's a very good loot, like hack and slash, or with loot systems, like a Diablo zombie hack and slash.
It was a lot of fun. And it was a sleeper too at the time.
Yeah, it really was.
Like you were probably working at GameStop just like I was, and we couldn't keep that thing in stock.
No. Because it was just good. It was fun. It was a great game to play with friends.
Yeah, it was. But all that being said, those 4 kind of major delays, kind of wanted to kind of open up that discussion of the impact that this has, kind of on all fronts, right? So the impact that the consumers that it has on the consumers, and also maybe the workforce as well. So these people that are putting these time into these games, because there's always talk of crunch time in the games industry. So just kind of wanted to see what you guys had to say about how these delays kind of impact everything. What are your thoughts,
Trey?
To me, I think as long as they're delaying the game to make it better, like, I'm cool with that. But I understand like the extension of like crunch time and all that stuff like that. But if this is like, maybe they delayed Final Fantasy because they gave them a really long break because they got so close to the end date, and they're like, okay, maybe we need like finishing, like do a couple finishing polishes. It's not going to be anything like drastic. We're just meant to make sure that we're ironing out all the bugs, just making sure everything is good to go, set and ready to go at launch. We don't have to do a day one patch or anything. Just game's out, bam, done.
Which has been common. Day one patches have become way too common.
Right.
So I agree.
Which is like, it bums me out, yeah, but it's like, as long as the game's coming out, I don't care. Like that's fine with
Yeah.
me. If they delay Final Fantasy another till next year, I'm gonna be like, okay, as long as it's coming out better, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if they delay Resident Evil, I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be a little upset, but
I
understandable.
say that one might make me sad. That's.
I mean,
like,
it'll make me sad, but I'm not gonna lie. When I heard the announcement of Final Fantasy getting delayed, I was like in a little bit of depression, but I'm good. I'm okay.
I had a guy at work that already had that week requested off to play it.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
he's got to move
That's
that around
rough.
now.
Yeah, this day and age, I kind of learned that. Until I have a definite, confirmed, solid date, no pushbacks. That's when I'll see if I can get those days off.
That's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to get because you can never really tell. I mean, this was probably the closest one was Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
with only being really a month and a half away. It can be up till that last minute really.
Yeah.
Tim, any thoughts on how these delays kind of impact everything?
So kind of like Trey, like, look, as long as it's for the greater good, and when the game comes out, it's fun. I'm all for whatever needs to be done, right? Like, there is a line of you don't want to delay something so much to where now the hype is gone, right?
Sure.
So there's you have to be careful with those, because then at that point it's not just affecting the people who play the game. I don't know how it affects the people who are making the games at that point, right? Because I'm sure that builds stress on them as well. But I don't mind it happening. Like, it doesn't bother me unless it's been delayed like 10 times, because then at that point you just lose faith in it even being a real thing.
Yeah.
I always come back to when I think of delayed stuff. And I know it's kind of weird, but the BioShock Infinite DLC, how like it just didn't come out till like it was a long time after the game originally came out, right?
I thought you were going to say Duke Nukem at first.
Or Duke, we don't. That's no. But it took so long for the BioShock Infinite DLC to come out to where I barely know anybody who played it.
Yeah.
Just because like the hype, everyone moved on. As amazing as Infinite was, everyone moved on. Well, not everybody, but most people moved on to where once they announced that, it's like, so
Sure.
you want to make sure you keep your game relevant. Days Gone is another good one that it just kind of lost hype. And I know it's wound up being an okay, solid game, but it lost hype. I feel like Cyberpunk's not losing hype, but at the same time, I don't feel like it's nearly as hyped up as it used to be at one point. So I think it's good to make sure your games come out and that they work when they come out.
Yeah.
For sure, and that is the main priority, right? As much as I love 76, it probably could have used a delay. Like, I wouldn't disagree with that. It could have used a delay. Had a few more betas in there to polish some things up for sure. But make sure you're not getting to the extent to where delays become what you're known for.
Sure.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think, I think at the point in time where we're at, I don't think anyone's kind of like a repeat offender at this point, and
right.
And kind of alongside that. So thinking of the impact that it has on the developers, right? Because it's something that we kind of hear about in the, like, just in gaming news in general, how when it comes down to these last couple of months, they have to go through crunch time, right?
Right.
To where they're working extra hours or working on Saturdays, really, and with no overtime, right? In most cases, so they're just required to work extra, no incentives. I've heard when I was kind of doing some research, some of them have maybe some internal incentives to where maybe you'll get some extra time off, like after the game's launched, or maybe they've got like some giveaways or something, like if you work overtime, maybe you can win some prizes or something like that. So there could be some compensation in different forms there, but regardless, I kind of wanted to bring up the point that, okay, you have a game launching in April like Cyberpunk, right? And you're in crunch at this point in time. You're in crunch time. This is before the delay, so it comes out in April. We're in January. Last 3 months, probably crunch time, right? Because you're down to the wire.
Yeah.
So you're having everyone come in on Saturdays, working 10-hour days, 12-hour days, whatever it is, and then you delay the game, right? So now you're not really getting rid of crunch time. All you're doing is doubling it, right? Because come what would that be? September, August. So come this summer, like June, July, they're going to be in crunch time again. So they're just going to repeat the same cycle that they're in right now, if it doesn't just continue indefinitely, because there's nothing that says that, it might just continue on from now until the game launches. And there's no way that we're going to find this out, but I thought that's kind of an interesting point, that I don't think it's a healthy thing. I agree that we need to delay games to make sure that they're polished and put out quality content. But I think maybe the resolution is waiting to announce release dates, or waiting to just announce games in general, to avoid that altogether. So if we say an average game takes, and I don't know this by any means, but let's just say it takes 5 years. So maybe in order to avoid crunch time altogether, to make sure that these workers have healthy work-life balances, the game still gets polished and everything, maybe the expectation in the industry becomes 7 years. So it takes longer to complete, but everyone has better work conditions.
Like, I agree. Like, so you gotta take lives into matter, right? Like, I get what you're saying. And I feel that it's yes, that makes sense, but you also have to think of it from a business point of view, right? So you're in this and you're running a business, and let's say you're a small time company, and you got bought, and Activision comes to you and is like, hey, look, we like the idea. We really like this game. We are going to help support this game. We're going to fund this game up solely. Like, we will pay for you to make this game and publish it under our name as a publisher, right? But we need to try to have it done by this time frame. Are you guys okay to do that? And they say, yes, we can do that. So now you got a giant check from a publisher to publish and develop your game. You kind of accept those terms that come with that contract, right? And it gets to the extent, because then you start hearing about, and the number one example I can think of is Destiny. Destiny, I'm pretty sure Destiny, not so much, what was the EA game? Anthem. Not so much Anthem. Yeah. But if I recall, like, so you're on a deadline to make this game, right? So like you said, then you get all these crunch times and stuff, and publishers don't want to delay the game, but the developers deem that it needs to be done, right? Publishers want to get that shit out there because I'm sure they have some kind of, they got to make money, and I'm sure they have, just like any business, you have like sites, well, I don't know what the hell it's called, but goals. You have numbers you're trying to hit every year, right? And this game that you gave millions of dollars, thousands of dollars to fund is part of said thing this year. And if that gets pushed back, you're not going to make that money, right? So publishers clearly, I would assume, don't want to delay a game. Developers need to, and probably more so want to, because they want to make sure that it's their game. That's their reputation on the line. So they want to make sure when they launch something, it's as clean, polished as said can be. That way it goes, you don't have an Anthem situation. You don't have a Destiny situation, because from what we've heard from Destiny, and who they were with Activision, right? Bungie, and because Bungie and all that jazz, Bungie left. And they made Destiny and yada, yada, yada. But you heard from the developers that that Destiny wasn't what it was supposed to be, but the publishers made them release it early because they needed it to be released that year, right?
Sure.
So because of that, we got a mediocre, half-assed game that wasn't even anywhere close to what it was supposed to be according to the developers of the game. Destiny 1. Yeah, Destiny 1. That wasn't even close to what it was supposed to be. It was still fun in its own right, but there was so much we were missing, all because the publishers want. Activision is the publisher of that, right? Like, I'm not crazy. Like, they're the ones who publish it.
Was
right. So they essentially rushed the studio, Bungie, to get it done, and because of that, we got a mediocre game, and it sucked because I'm sure if they had the time that they needed to make it better and great, it would have been amazing and great, right? Like, I mean, I'm sure it would have been phenomenal. And I'm sure the developers, as they said, would have loved to have had that time to do that, right? But again, you took this money saying we will get it done.
Yeah,
So
and
it's like I get both sides. I really do. Like if you paid for something, Trevor, if you're like, hey, look, I need this done I need all this stuff with my car done by this month because I have things I have to hit, things I have to do by the following month. Can you do that? And they're like, okay, yeah. And then they come back to like, hey, look, it's gonna take probably another month or two. And you're just like, well, I need it now. So give me something now that I can use to get from point A to point B because I need my car back.
Yeah. And I think that, and I agree with you there, to where you have these expectations. And I think that's where, and I'm not trying to say I know the answer and I know how any of this works. I'm just saying that I think the expectations need to change. Because if everyone has this like standard expectation of like, because there's a bunch of different stockholders in games, right? You've got the shareholders, like the people that these businesses, these CEOs, report out to. Like, hey, here's where our stocks are at, and here's where we're projected to be because we have this game coming out this fall. Well, whatever that looks like, you've got the consumers to appeal to as well. There's all kinds of variables that I am not educated on one bit. So that
same.
I just think if we change the expectation, so if all the game developers, they came together and they're just like, hey, this is an unrealistic timeline to expect games. We need to, with the new generations coming out, who knows what'll change, right? Maybe it'll get longer, maybe it'll get shorter. I don't know. But at this point, it seems if this is happening kind of across the board to where games are being delayed and then it just adds more crunch time to these already overworked developers,
right?
Something has to change. I don't know what the answer is,
but we also don't know if it's even crunch time at this point, because if they're so far into development and they're like, okay, we're just going to delay the game, like how I was saying, like we're just going to delay the game just so we make sure that it's the finished product that we're wanting to give on day one. Maybe they're just like ironing out bugs they just recently found. Maybe they're make sure like they're getting game testers in to like play through the game, make sure everything's good. Maybe they're giving them that portion of the production just a little bit more time. I don't know.
And we'll never know in all
stuff. So
yeah, for sure. And we don't either. And we'll never know in every situation. Mm-hmm. I know that the CD Projekt Red CEO specifically said like, he basically said that crunch time is unavoidable. Now they're in a different situation because they're not US based. So their crunch time is paid. So it's a little bit of a different situation, at least they're being compensated for it, but still like, I mean, Tim, you work retail. You know what it's like to work Black Friday week and, have, 50 to 60 hours on your pay stub like that. It's nice, but it's exhausting.
It is. It's very exhausting. Like the money's always nice, but you can only take so much before you're just like, okay, like enough. Yeah. No. And that, I mean, work-life balance really across the board needs figured out. Like realistically speaking, work-life balance across the board in every business needs figured out. It is whack. It really is. Yeah. Like it is whack. But
work-life
here
balance.
We are.
Whack.
Right. Whack.
I think they even tried out. I think Microsoft tried out the whole 4-day work week,
and it worked out extraordinarily well, from my understanding.
And this isn't like the 4-day work weeks that we have here. Like I used to be on 4x10s, 10-hour days, 4 days a week. But I think they
legit work 8 hours.
Yeah, like 4 8-hour days.
So they did,
and they said production rised quite a bit. Like just to imagine how nice it would be to just go into work 4 days and then you have this time for the things that really matter. Not to say that there are people out there that are passionate about their jobs. I like what I do for work. But at the end of the day, that's not what I'm like. What matters to me is my friends, my family, experiences.
Right.
building content like this, like if
Right.
I don't have time for that, then what's the point, man?
Right. So no, I agree, and I thought it was interesting that production rised. Like even
Yeah.
though they took one extra day off, but you also have people coming to work that want to work. Like you don't feel like nearly as exhausted. Like one day can do wonders for people
Sure.
who are so used to working 5. Like, I think that is where things should start. Like I really do. I think that's a good place to start. Is that right there? But I'm not some big CEO making tons of money who makes these
Right.
rules, so maybe I'm just an idiot. But it is what it is. But like bringing it back to the delays and stuff, I think there's a balance between understanding you have a deadline because you took that check.
Mhm.
Like you have a deadline, you took that
Sure.
check, but at the same time, understanding that delays will most likely happen because people need to live their lives outside of that development job.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not a game developer. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe it's terrible. I don't know. I'm sure it's a lot of work. I can guarantee you that much at least.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you people are very unappreciative of the time and effort that go into a lot of these games. Looking at you, Pokemon haters. And like, I think, look, there are games that come out that just suck, right? They don't work well. They're buggy. It doesn't work. Shit happens. But I'm telling you right now, there's not a single developer out there who makes these games just to piss off people.
Right.
Like you know what I mean? Like someone didn't put this game out there for it to be shitty just because
man,
you
Anthem
want it to
was
be
pretty bad.
well, but like think about the time and effort that people put into that game to make that game, right? Like it was bad. Like we can all agree. I had a great 2 days with that game. It was a very fun 2 days. And after that 2 days, it was like I feel bad because I don't play it anymore because it's just not a fun game. Like I'll just say it's not fun. There's no in-game content. But that doesn't mean people didn't spend years of their lives making this game that unfortunately just bombed.
Yeah.
So then you ask then as a publisher, you need to ask yourself, okay, look at Anthem. Look what just happened to that game. They didn't give them time. They said, "Nah, we gotta have this game out right now," and they ain't doing shit. They're not making money anymore. So maybe we give these people at CD Projekt Red some time, get it right. That way we don't have that situation happen. Actually, the best thing that comes out of things like Anthem is hopefully publishers see what happened when you rush a game.
Yeah.
Same with Destiny.
Sure.
You look at those games, you got the two of the biggest games that were supposed to be and what happened to them. And you maybe step back and be like, look, we paid them to do a job. I'd rather pay them to do a good job than a rush job.
Yeah. I mean, I feel the same because like Beyond Good and Evil is kind of one of those. Like they announced it.
Yes, I completely forgot.
Forever ago, and it's still in the works. But they even said like, okay, we're gonna take our time to get this right. And I was like,
good.
That's all I asked for. That's
Good.
all I ask. They came out with that one trailer. It was like E3 2009 or something like that. And I was like,
Did we
I
see
can't
that
wait.
the Ubisoft thing?
Yeah, it was Ubisoft, yeah.
I'm so mad we didn't get into that last year, Trevor. We need to make sure we do that because that was such a good time the year we went. Like that little Ubisoft outside party was, pizza rolls for days.
Which it's weird, right?
great.
Because we got into it so easily, and
did.
it became like an actual thing. Because we legit just walked by it, and we're like, oh, we can go in. Oh, cool.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
So we got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
maybe for next year, if they do it again, maybe try to get there a little earlier so we can get in the actual theater instead of watching it outside.
Look, I'm down for whatever.
Yeah, either way, it was fun.
Yep.
But
All I'm saying is give me Splinter Cell.
yeah, I mean,
Ubisoft.
Delayed. They announce it. Delayed.
Delayed. Doesn't even have doesn't
Just
have a
immediately.
year. It just says delayed until whenever.
delayed indefinitely.
And that would be the worst.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it would happen to me.
Yeah, I mean, but it's the way I feel like Beyond Good and Evil. It's cool. Like I'm good with waiting. I've been waiting since 2009. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII. Just take the time you need. If you need to give your people a break for a hot minute to make that a delay, that's fine. I don't care. Like as long as the game comes out the way they want it to be delivered to us, I'm completely fine with it. If Kingdom Hearts 4 is delayed for 10 years, or 40 years. I don't care. If I see something for it that's like in the works, I'm gonna be like, thank you. That's it.
Well, and games come out so frequently nowadays. Like, I almost miss the time where there were lulls between big titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I used to be able to spend months on one game and be just fine. Like, back when
now
Gears
you got to
1
move
came
on
out.
to the next thing.
Yeah, like we did that decade thing, right? That for Microsoft for Xbox. I spent like 700 days in Gears of War 2.
Yeah.
And let me explain something to you. The multiplayer in that game was amazingly fun and the laggiest of any game I've ever played. But I still put 700 days into that game because that's what we had. And we made do with it, and it was great. It also introduced Horde mode, but it was a fun time, and that's just what we did. We were okay with that. Like, I'm okay with that. Look, I've been on Pokemon for 3 months now, and I don't really have a need to jump off it right away. I mean, realistically speaking, the next big game I'm looking forward to outside of Animal Crossing, because that's not one of those games I'm just gonna dump, like 10 hours into on one day because you just can't. But it's whatever.
I caught
it's
10 fish today.
3.
I'm done.
Yeah. But Resident Evil 3, and that's not until April. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But we got Doom, but I'll get Doom and play through it. But I'm not like a Doom hoarder like some. I love Doom, and I'm excited for it. I got my helmet coming and everything.
Yeah.
But Resident Evil 3.
It couldn't compete with Animal Crossing, man. They were like, we can't.
Wait,
do
that
this.
didn't get pushed back?
No.
Doom?
No.
It's not coming out the same day, isn't it?
It's March still. I'm almost positive it's still March.
Oh.
You can't knock back Doom.
Just announced. Oops.
Because with Resident Evil, not only do I get this lovely, glorious campaign I can't wait to play, we get Project Resistance, baby.
Can't wait.
Project Resistance. I'm going to be on that. I'm going to be the best person ever.
Yeah, man. Go pro.
Go pro on Project Resistance.
Yep.
Turmoil Resident Evil Resistance. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
Well, cool. That was I'm glad we were able to discuss that, because that's something that's definitely been kind of on everyone's minds, I think, since there were so many in such a short time frame. Which I think we can like we've discussed the past half hour. It's good, but I think there can definitely be improvements made to the process.
100%.
I know a lot of the, at least from my understanding, a lot of like the Asian companies are pretty tough about that, about like crunch time and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I hope it's gotten better. I hope like the reason for the delay was, them making this better for everyone.
Yeah.
Developers, employees, producers, whatever. Hopefully it's just good for everybody.
Yeah.
Because they're about to make a lot of money. A lot of money.
Hopefully the people that put the hardest work into it see that return on investment.
For sure.
Well, that was a great and sexy topic for episode 69.
69.
I'm glad we were able to get that episode out there. I don't think we really have another. That was probably the coolest milestone we'll ever hit. So I think this is probably our last podcast. Just end it here.
69.
That Tim's looking at me like right in the eye when he says that. It's really creepy. But no, we'll be back in 2 weeks with episode 70. Excited for another great year of podcasts with you guys. I'm sure it'll be an exciting one. We're gonna just talk about Animal Crossing after March. So
it's gonna be like whose Tom Nook is better, who's got who gets the frog seat,
right? Who gets froggy chair, dude? But yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. Appreciate you guys listening. Thank you so much. If you can listen to all of our previous episodes on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, whatever you want. And we appreciate you supporting this. If you guys do want to, Trey's changing his camera right now. Sorry,
I don't know what's happening.
If you guys have any ideas for things you want us to talk about in the future, let us know in Discord. Let us know in the comment section. We'll be ready for you. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next episode.
Later, everybody.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening to FAMcast. Be sure to subscribe for the latest episodes and follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and our other socials at For All Manakind.